This is part 3 of the Crupi chainring video. I'm not a filmer, so I'm not really good at running this camera. I'm trying to do it off my phone, so bear with me. But you can see there, all the recessions in there are polished out. All the little dots, the letters. Right quick, I'm gonna go ahead and polish out this lip where the teeth are, all the way around. Pretty basic stuff. Dremel felt, Dremel bit. A little bit of Mother's mag polish. Let me go ahead and finish up this side real quick. Right on. I don't know if you can really tell or not, but from this camera, but if you look, the teeth are polished now. That recession. Okay, those recessions are polished. Those recessions are polished. Everything that I want to stay silver, I'm polishing. The reason is because I'm going to anodize it. And if you anodize over a matte finish, there we go. Now she's focused. If you anodize over a matte finish, you're gonna get a matte finish. If you anodize over a polished finish, you're gonna get a more glossy, wet finish. And I want this to look like fresh CNC'd aluminum. So the glossier you can get your silver, the better it's gonna come out. A lot of anodizing is just legitimately only has to do with your prep and how you prep it, and that's why I find it important to show you how I prep it. Okay, so now the next step here, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off this face, smooth that all out. I don't have any 180 grit, so I gotta use 220, which kind of sucks, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive than I would have liked to been, but you'll see here. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand this out. And all I'm doing right now is basically making sure all those little dips, you see all those little black spots, right? You see all those little black spots? Those look like paint, right? But they're not. That's actually, well, I'll find out what it is pretty soon. But it could be little divots in the metal, little polka dots. All that has to be removed. So I'm sorry I can't like show you guys every step of this whole process, but me actually standing here hurts my back. Bent over this is not a good way to be. And that Dremel, it's like an extension to my arm. I've been using it for so long, but when I'm sitting here trying to show you for the camera, it's easy for it to slip. And if it slips and nicks this part, it costs me money to fix it again. So I'm only able to just show you how I'm doing it. One day maybe I'll get a real camera set up like the professionals do. But we got hook and loop, Amazon pack sandpapers, dude. They're cheap, 100 packs for 30 bucks, 20 bucks, some shit like that. Anyway, just keep it flat, keep it straight, low pressure. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit down because I need this. This disc must be perfectly flat. That way you don't wear down any divots and you don't lose the thickness of the lip. All right, if you have the sander at an angle, it'll cut into this, and then you're gonna have a dip right here on the lip. And then on the next step, when I ask you to take off the anodizing we're getting ready to put on there, you're gonna have to tilt the grinder at an angle to get that off of there. And once you do, you're gonna nick the tooth. And once you nick the tooth, after I have it anodized silver, it'll then have a raw spot, a bare spot, where it's back down to raw aluminum. So then when I anodize the disc, that little tiny speckle right there where you hit it with the sander and took the ano off will then be purple. You do that enough times and you have purple spots all over and it looks unprofessional. So I'm gonna sit down and do this, but I'm gonna hold it perfectly flat on this disc. All right, now you can kind of see, at least I can kind of see what I'm working with here. So I took it down, we're at 220 grit. Dot spot right there has to be fixed. And I don't know how good my camera will get in here, but you know, you got that's little minor scratches. The real issue that I see, those little guys, man, you can probably barely see them. See those little pock marks right there? Tiny little holes. All those have to be out 100%. All of that. There can't be a single mark. All that stuff, it will have to be absolutely perfect. So that's what I'm gonna do here. This next part of the video, I'm gonna run that, do that. You know, that guy's gotta come out of there. There's a gnarly one. That's gotta come out. Those are pretty deep, you guys. You know what I mean? You take that out of there. All of those have to come out. I know it doesn't seem like much, but when you only have that much buffer zone, let me show you. So look, when I put this disc on there, you understand now? Okay. You understand how much room we got? If this thing at all tilts like this, it hits the edge of the teeth and it grinds off the anodized layer. I'm going to be using the silver as a mask, so I don't want to accidentally hit it. So if I don't sand the very first layer down perfectly flat and take your time, you will run into issues later on in this job. So I'm going to leave it at this point right here. I'm going to do the rest off camera, and it'll be on part 4